How does an aspiring creative working in the UAE balance the need for creativity and appeasing client interest?
I mean, as a creative, there's always, whatever the job may be, whether it be for a shampoo or whether it be for something as small as a box of matches, creators always find a challenge to try and create something out of it. So there is a challenge in the market, as in the people in the market, or the clients, because there's quite a varied amount of people. But it's creators never stop pushing themselves, and as long as you always have that passion within an agency and within the culture of the agency, then there's no issue of creating good work.
Well, need for creativity should be client interest. It's in client interest to have creative value to it. So there's no balance there, if you know what I mean. Like if some message is creatively executed and so on, then obviously it's in client interest to do that. And I think it's whether he sees it the same way, you know. But that's a different question, I suppose. That's a question of how do you sell that.
Well, it helps for the creatives to, not look at creativity as an isolated part of the business. At the end of the day, everything we do is meant to grow our clients' brands. With the right mature approach to what we do, I think a balance can be achievable, where everybody can walk away pleased with the results.
Just like the rest of the world again. Maybe there are some clients here who don't have the experience of clients elsewhere, but clients elsewhere can be as difficult, and even more so, I guess. Some clients in the best markets, at the best agencies, don't walk into the agency waiting for great, controversial, difficult to understand work. People don't generally want that. Marketers don't want that. So over here it's the same thing. You have to fight it. There's not a country where it's easy. And I think when you come here, you think we have it more difficult. It's just a different kind of difficult. So maybe here it's a bit more educational. So you have to educate some clients. You have to play a game of chess with them, so you can all to try and get the right thing through, and not to get the easy thing through, or the safe thing through, or the mass thing through. That anything great requires people to take a leap of faith, requires people to accept that some people won't like it, because great things aren't liked by everyone immediately.
It's not only here in the UAE that happens around the world. It is a frustrating career. You put your talent and everything you've got on the line, and it gets broken down first by your peers, and then by the client, and then by the consumer. It's a never-ending cycle. It's almost like an art. You put yourself out there, and it gets criticized or admired or what have you. But at the end of the day, it's a job. You've got to communicate a certain thing. You've got to do it in a way that's fresh and cool, and that works. And if it doesn't, and if you have to sort of, eventually we've all done it, do what the client absolutely wants you to do. There's other ways to creatively show your ideas. We always, when we're present what the client would like, if it comes to that, and we keep trying to push what we think is right. It's a never-ending battle, and sometimes we win and sometimes we don't.
I don't think it's particular for the UAE. Okay, this is the problem of any creative anywhere in the world. You have clients that are feeding us. Okay, so we know that no creative work should be done there, because either it's not the nature of the client, or the nature of the business. And we have clients that are more flexible and allow us to be more creative. If you look, for example, on what the US or England are doing, or even France, 75% of their ads are promotional, buy one, get one free. And only the 25% that everybody talks about are the creative ones. So it's the same everywhere.
No, again, I'd say there's no specifics to this, UAE specifics. You have to do, it's part of your professional career anywhere. How do you find an answer to a very specific problem? That's, to me, is actually the question. Certainly not by neglecting the problem. So you need to be aware of the problem. What is the actual business problem? That's maybe the biggest shift taking place today. We're no longer simply looking at another visual expression or another, let's say, superficial advertising idea that will work for 3 ads or 2 films. More and more and increasingly we will be tasked with solving business problems, finding creative strategies for companies in certain markets. It's a big shift. It takes more technological, more business knowledge than we used to need. So I think it's a lot about unlearning some of the old techniques, some of the old approaches, being very open to new technologies, to new emerging technologies, and also teaming up with people that we usually wouldn't have teamed up with. So there's a lot to be done by the aspiring creative. I think we also need to relook at who's a creative in the first place. I mean, I've got a big problem with saying, okay, it's these guys, we're on the 24th floor right now, it's only the guys on the left side of the building who are the creatives, the other guys aren't creative. It doesn't work like that. To me, most of our clients are, in their clients' companies, you'll have a lot of creative people. We're looking at a camera that is a photo camera that can tape video now. So, I mean, that's pretty inventive, that's pretty creative by Canon. And the guys doing the advertising for it, are they more creative than the people who invented the camera? I don't know.
I think the best thing you can do when you're working in the UAE is get out to the UAE as much as you possibly can, because what it does do, in a sense, that we haven't got the infrastructure or the culture or the soul of any of the big countries. It's a London, a New York, or a Tokyo. But I think it's good to get out of the country and really refresh your creative juices.
Again, that's not a local problem. We're in a commercial business. It's not art. And, when we do everything right, it just kind of transcends that, and we can cheat ourselves in thinking we created something new. But honestly, it's not art, because it has to connect with such a wide number of people. Even if your most focused ad has to talk to thousands of people. So art is very abstract, and you can talk about art a lot, but we're talking about communication here. So I think most serious advertising people realize that it's commercial, and there are clients. Clients have they're managing their brands, and they have all those interests. So I just kind of I don't see that as a problem. I think we're kind of realists about it, so it's fine.
I think any great creative at the end of the day can balance and should be able to do the two, answer the brief first. Not trying to be too clever, but answering the brief in the best possible way. And I think that chasing originality is creative, as opposed to kind of creative for creative's sake. And I still think that in this region, it's still a matter of following ads of the world, and that's their level of creative and what advertising should be.